Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, how are we doing today? Hope you can hear and see me. Let me quickly have a check, please. Anyone here in the chat, either on X or on YouTube? Then we will go right into Bitcoin price action here. Quite some drop happening, no? I hope you were prepared. Was quite a nice push, and yeah, let's see. Give me some insights first, please. If some of you can hear and see me, that would be epic. All is good. The lure. Whoop, let me check. Lol user. Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. Or girl, it doesn't matter. Here we go. Let's see Bitcoin. No, I'll go top down. I will start fresh here, similar to the sessions that I will do inside the launch. Really important to always get a fresh start in the morning, and I will treat this as the same. So we'll do top down TA. We will check higher time frame, medium time frame, and then lower time frames. And if at any point you have any questions, just reach out. Hello, Madim and Rakesh, nice one. Yo, very nice. Appreciate everyone being here. Loudly, I mean Barakat, man. Glad to have you here. New name. Let's see what we got. Higher time frame, no? Here, monthly TPO chart. You remember well, let's reset the chart for a bit. Reset the chart fully, no? Zoom out, load a little bit more data. We can already see here what has happened. We went over it on the last stream, also on the public one here. And now if we check out the current month, so far the only thing that I can say here, we have a poor low, no? And what we can see here from history, no? Poor lows have been taken. So most of the poor lows, if we zoom back quite a bit, they were all taken out eventually. There is some for sure here, but those are all looking a little bit more brutal, so more time spent at these lows. And that is something that I have to keep in mind here. So the poor low is still there, really important. Even if we had locally, if we expand it, we had quite some up and down and up and down. Now over the last few hours and also days here, still the same. We have poor lows to the highs here on the daily. That is something that is clearly visible too, no? And I think the weekly, not all too much, nothing all too crazy here. I will not go into detail all too much, but we can also see here on the poor low 87.4, and here this one for sure is a little bit higher, but still one key level that we always discussed here is the previous year value area low on the TPO profile. So very important that we have a look at that. Basically, what are we doing? We are merging all the profiles from the last year. It's super easy here in the MMT Terminal. You can click and merge them all to the left. I really love how smooth it goes. And you can see how the profile changes live. So I think we have one more to do. Yeah, January. And now we have basically, this is the previous year value area low. We discussed it, I think, 2 weeks ago already, how important it was also if we were to merge all the previous ones and how we perfectly backtested the value area low. You can do that on your own, checking that out. But the point to make here is that the value area low is still not tapped here. And we've been discussing that and wanting to see that. Also inside the Academy, you get access to all the educational content and all the updates. We've been monitoring this value area low here to the downside for quite a bit. I'll also go over some exciting changes in the terminal later. Yo, HFG, let's go. Basically 87,200 with the poor low still for me is a price magnet. So we will mark that one out. Now let's come back here into our main charting one. And for sure, we can already see the 786 here and the 702 and the VWAP close that we mentioned inside the Academy. So this one gave us a nice bounce here, is a good level, 2.4%, not too bad. We took a loss yesterday. I was also very open about that on the live session here. We came into this region and I wanted to take a long, and then we got stopped out. So, but that's part of the game. We take losses, we take wins. The most important thing is that profits are bigger than the losses. So what we can say here, basically, VWAP close gave a nice bounce, and now we've been ranging the whole day, up, back down, back up. We did not get anything crazy going here. We have a VWAP close above us that we will for sure monitor also during the session, potentially for a nice short. It is pretty close to the lows, but then again, if we were to take out the lows again, we would have some potential, no? And then on the other hand, if we were to drop into the 786 around 87,200, we would also have our nice value area low there, 87,240. So let's mark that one out as a key level for everyone here that is new and that just joined. Where are we here with array? And we will put this one here around 87,200. It's pretty much mapping the 786 now. So let's go here and let's put value area low 25. So that is a key level for me for a long, so to be very, very easy going here on the higher time frame. Does not need to be an exact level. We can also tap into it and then reclaim it, and that would be the safest trade. But for now, that is the level that I'm monitoring here on the higher time frame. So we can collapse this one here. We can also change quickly if and how it would change if we were to merge this one. Not all too much, no, not all too much volume here. And then we've been also monitoring this whole drop here as a new range basically. And because if you expand it, you can also see how well we got up and down and up and down. If we expand this further, we are seeing now potentially for the first time. Let's undo the merges again, and we can potentially see that if we are wanting to get out of it, we need to stay above value area high of this range. We can also see that here on the medium time frame, or if we zoom out a little bit, let's go there quickly before we check all the rest. But we can also see here with our volume profile, now just going over this, we are basically back inside the range, and we are basically back at the point of control and bouncing from it. So if we were to go a little bit more to the left, we can also see, let's check, if the point of control ever shifted. We can see the value area high shifting as we move up, but basically all the rest does not change all too much. So point of control here remains still the same. What does that tell us? During this whole range here, no, let's see if we can expand it a little bit. Doesn't change either all too much. But during this whole range here, what happened is basically the point of control was always in this region, no? And then normally what you would want to see is if we are coming in here with some nice aggression, that the point of control would shift basically, or stay the same, or same at the highs, like we would get top heavy and it changes. So far it is still the same. We did not shift anywhere, so more or less still support for now. And I would like to see a shift eventually if we are to deviate out of it or to the downside. For now, quickly coming into this one here with our VWAP close, and let's quickly check if there is some questions so far. Beautiful pirates, how is everyone doing here? We were also short from the anchor, and you hopefully were prepared and in this too. So anchor here, I think we went over that live in the academy a few days ago. There is quite some stuff going on, but when we came up into the highs, there were some nice longs that we took below it, and then we came into the highs basically with some nice long aggression into it. So that was really nice executed, and we are in a good short position here from this anchor. Now I will take this off, the TPO point of control. I will also take this off. This was the level down here, and now we can reassess the whole situation here. Basically what we did is higher time frame range to the side. Now so far we came back into it, we bouncing from the point of control. I would still like to see one more drop. Does not necessarily mean that we are getting it, but I would still love to see one more leg to the downside. And we will see if we get some reaction here eventually, maybe a live trade. We can also look at bucketed CVD here. Very important data in my opinion, where we can see what are bigger players doing. I have now built this new template where we are monitoring CVD on the different price bucket. So inside CVD, you can change what you want to see, 10 to 25K, 50K, 100K. And that is basically bucketing CVD based on those orders or order volume sizes. And then we can visualize it. You know, we can either aggregate all the exchanges, or here I'm only aggregating inverse. Here on the middle side, only futures, and on the left side, only spot. And then we can see basically here spot with some aggressive selling into the lows. You know what those volume bubbles mean. CVD is dropping off, dropping off, dropping off, and then also not all too much picking up yet. No, slower bleed here, most of the positions. And then what we can see is everything like a little bit of pickup, but it's still not a spot driven move. No, there's no big pickup. There's also nothing really crazy changing with the big 5 million plus orders, for example. The only thing we can see here if we zoom out is that potentially, yeah, from this drop here, same, everything here on futures, middle-sized players are trying to push. And now let's check out how it is on inverse and what is inverse doing here since this drop. Inverse is also trying to push a little bit, but also not really a crazy strong move. No, we could argue that potentially, let's open up a new template here with our heat maps. We could arguably mention, let's slide this. The sliders got some love here, really nice. We have more way of adjusting the intensity of the heat map now. And we will have a look if we can find some bullish CVD divs from here to here, potentially on spot. But yeah, inverse too, spot and inverse, more or less. So yeah, is it a strong move? I don't know. Spot is trying to pick up here, but not the bigger players yet. So the question for me really remains, you know, is this a medium time frame low here or not? Am I scaling out of my short? Definitely, because at the end, swing short that we took here, now we are at 10%. 10% is always a profit target for me on shorts. So that is how I trade and how I operate with swing trades. And I've scaled out majority of my swing trade here from this high. So we are still in the swing short, but I will not boost about it. It does not matter all too much anymore. And we're looking for something new. And the question is this the low now? And we can ask that seriously if we are looking at different things. So let's do that. Let's ask ourselves, is it a nice low? Did we get enough aggression? Are we anywhere close to a nice reversal, or can we still see lower? So first of all, T-Web here, for example, nice going sideways, uptrend, and first time yesterday, I also mentioned it during the session, first time it is breaking down. So we were monitoring it around this level and we were waiting for a reclaim of yesterday's candle. And then overnight, while I was sleeping, we dropped further. Now, the main question is for us to be bullish, no, we would need to reclaim this. We would need to get above it. The question is for me now to see, okay, we still have a few hours on the day. What is happening here with the T-Web? Are we just coming up here and then getting a bounce again? Or are we reclaiming it that this was just a weak fake out to the downside? We will very soon see here. And we will also see if it shifts and if we're getting a reaction there. But basically 91,500 and here 90,500. So those are the two next key levels for me to the upside. First, this one for maybe a small aggressive scalp. I'm not 100% interested in shorts. And you also have to consider that the shorts that I take down here are way less in position size versus the shorts that we took up here. I always go over position size and everything inside the academy and also mention how aggressive I am on those trades. We will also monitor here now coming into it, because you can see here again aggressive shorts into the low, and then we come back test the bubbles and off we go. And now I want to see what is happening here. Let me quickly adjust the threshold here a little bit and also have a look at our aggregation. We have everything aggregated here on footprint. So this is a full profile on all 20 exchanges and shows us the delta basically on everything. So that will be interesting now as we come into this VWAP close. And if we get a ton of aggression, we might consider a very aggressive scalp short. I'm again not all too keen to short here, but we can also, depending on what we get, take one or not. So we will see. We'll see if we get one. Overall, we did not get any crazy longs yet. If we zoom in here, we can see that CVD is mostly rising now here on the lower buckets. Bigger buckets did not step in here. The first spot orders are coming in here over the last few minutes. That is really interesting. So here now we can see, for example, that CVD is up substantially. No, so some spot people with 1 to 5 million trade sizes are opening new orders here. And then the question for us is, what is in those? You know, we can see a jump here, for example, and it is mostly longs. Longs at the high is a good idea. I would disagree. No, not really. We did not get to the level yet, so anyhow, no trade. Let's quickly come back to our thought here with the swing area. So what else can we look at? Volume, for sure. No, very, very simple. We can always have a look at volume. It is already here. And see, okay, here, this is our last major low. Massive volume spike and up, no, from there. Massive volume spike and up from there. Volume has been decreasing overall, no? We've been looking at it like this. And you can see that basically volume is going down overall. And for sure we have a nice spike here for a small bounce, but is it sustainable yet? I don't know. Let's see. Delta. Let's see what volume delta is telling us. So one of my most favorite indicators, and the juicy thing is here also now we can aggregate those here. So volume delta, really important for me to see how it shapes this whole move. If we are going to the daily, it is also pretty clear, no? Negative delta, quite a spike, move. Negative delta, spike, move. And then if we compare it, yesterday here, quite a spike. Positive delta to the upside, one more leg, downside. Spike to the upside, one more leg, downside. Not a crucial one. But I think if we're going into lower time frames, we can also see that we have quite some volatility or volume delta here into this region. Always jumping back here to see if we're getting some aggression. Who is interested to short here, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know. I would really love to see how the sentiment is between all our viewers. And if you are in any crazy trades or looking for crazy trades down here, we are coming into this one here now. We are checking, we're getting 3 million here on Hyperliquid, 5 million more or less, 12 on our aggregated one. For sure, if we were to lose this level, we could look for an aggressive scalp short here. Let me quickly switch over here to my station also to get an idea of where we are. For now, aggressive potential if we are to leave those longs behind. So basically here we can see longs, and we can also see here some longs, and for sure there is quite some volume into this, and then also here into this with some positive delta, with some open interest increase, not all too much, but with some nice aggression so far. So keep that in mind. We got some nice aggression, and the potential here for me is really simple. If we are to leave those longs behind, I would like to see a move to the downside. So we could be aggressive here and say, okay, let's take an aggressive scalp short in order to bet on that. So far, we are not yet out of the woods. We did not lose anything. We are about to backtest this one here. Let's quickly have a look in general what is going on here with our CVD and open interest. CVD is up, up, up. Shorts are down. Longs are also a little bit up, but not all too crazy. In terms of positive delta, some liquidations, I think you can hear it. We can for sure look for a super aggressive one, but I will still wait a little bit for now. Let me give me a second and I will check it out. No, not too bad. No, not too bad. Definitely potential here with the VWAP close. So aggressive scalp short for me. And as mentioned already, a little bit more on the aggressive side with the positioning. So not jumping onto huge positions here and doing crazy stuff, but again, potential with some follow through to the downside. So yeah, let's see how it goes and monitor this, and then we can go over the higher time frame stuff again whenever we got a move here and we have locked in some profits. But yeah, we are long up to 91. Mazim Crypto, man, 91. What do you have there? 91. I don't have all too much. We can check. There is a point of control around 9,900. So that could be the next juicy level. Yes, naked point of controls sometimes give some really good reactions. Key levels, I think today's daily open, we swept already. We came back into the local 786. Again, nothing crucial. We are outside of today's value area. So that is something to consider. For now, we are getting a small reaction here based on the aggressive longs that we got and 0.4% drop. So that is very nice to see. Also on ETH here, some aggression. And also just looking at this here, you know, candle structure wise, it does not really look like we are reversing here, no? Does this look like a nice candle to you, where it gets bought up quickly, where there's a lot of shorts at the lows, where we are getting that aggression? For sure, we saw some shorts earlier, but again, nothing really juicy, you know? OB imbalances are telling there is short starting in short. Let me check the OB imbalances quickly with you guys. Here we are still, we don't have any crazy stuff in the order books close by, but if we are checking out our imbalance here, template, then we can see that, okay, first of all, spot bands aggregated here are giving us the long trigger, but again, those were very cautious to be taken over the last few weeks because we've been trending and they've been populating, and we discussed this. Versus before, we got some pretty nice high, low, high, low, high, low, 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 high. Perfect. No perfect scenario. For sure here, a lot of pressure. But with the imbalances here, if we are zooming out 15-minute time frame, we can already see, okay, it is flipping here locally a little bit with short pressure, but so far still everything mostly on the buy side. Now we are getting flipped blue here on all the distances, and the pressure is basically pushing us or trying to push us up. You can see the similar thing here where we are coming down. For sure, we get a small move and it flips partially again, but then again here everything is turning blue, for example, and then we get the continuation to the upside, and then as soon as we come up, everything is flipping white, for example, and we are getting a move to the downside. And now here the 10% distance from the OB imbalances is also still potentially blue. So overall, yeah, nothing all too crazy here, you know, to jump onto shorts like madmen yet. So that is something to keep in mind. We flipped here the lower ones. Bigger distances are still untouched. Maybe we get a flip here, and that's it. For me, I would still like to see one more leg down. So this would be the trade here, the short that we took, basically getting down back to the value area low and then taking a trade from there, and ideally getting some proper aggression there, you know, because so far, yes, nice. No, let me check. Was I super loud? I was just wondering because my mic was turned up max. Let me know if you can still hear me. I turned it down a little bit, and I will quickly check if everything is good with everyone. So, yeah, very nice. Let's see what else we can look at here. Basically, delta. Yes, negative delta into the lows. If we go into the lower time frame, we can also see that it was pretty much here where we got a spike. So that is nice to see in terms of, okay, negative delta aggression, not the craziest amount of volume, but still something nice to see. You can already see here how we are trying to flip the T-web on the 1 hourly versus here trend and here trend. So ideally we would want to see a flip, and then what can we do here now? You know, let's take the T-web off for a minute, come back into the 50-minute, and then have a look here on our volume profiles. Have a look at what is happening here locally. Now the question is, okay, this is our local range. Let's include the wick or not and see how it changes. It changes a little bit, yeah. Let's include this one here. And now we are outside of this little range here today. So the main question is, if this is our short, for example, what is happening here? We need to be cautious of that, you know, because we can come back down here, value area high, and then reclaim it and then come back up. That would be some bullish continuation, no? We would be out of it and we would just start a trend. So we have to be aware of that. So far, we're still in the same position. Nothing really crazy happened or changed. And that's basically what I'm monitoring here locally now. If we're just trending upwards, I will not chase this short. For sure, we have 99 here with the point of control. But again, I would much rather prefer to get into longs here at those overall lows. So I would much rather prefer us to get one more leg down, get into a trade there, and then trade it up again to major new levels. And if we are about to lose everything here, if we're not bouncing here, for example, like from here to here, let me see, 3% drop. So that would be very nice, actually. And we can see, please like this stream. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Parakat, really nice. Thanks, everyone. I would really appreciate that too. So if you would be able to drop a like here, that would be epic. Would help us reach a few more people. And everyone would be very grateful. So very nice if you can drop this. And we are continuing with those free streams here. Yeah. Or leave a comment anytime. Drop a welcome, drop hello, or wherever you are in the world. Appreciate joining in. So awesome, CCJ. I really appreciate it. So yeah, that was the short so far. The question is now, where are we taking profits? Let's have a look quickly. So for sure, if we consider this one here as an aggressive scalp, we would need to be able to see if we get aggression here into the value area. No? High. If we were to do that and we have this potential flip, then we would need to take profit in this region. It would be 0.7%, which I always wait for 1% at least. And I like that. So I will monitor what is happening here on the lower time frame. If we are getting a spike in delta, I will take this one off here, for example, and also here, and I don't use it anymore. Now we're getting some negative delta here and a little bit of delta here also, but nothing crucial. Remember, we can also aggregate the delta here to understand where is it or where is it coming from, how much does futures change or how much does spot change the current delta distribution here. And then we have some nice filters that we can use to basically highlight certain spikes. So far, nothing yet to TP. No, we got a nice move to the downside. We discussed the short that we took here earlier. And thanks, guys. Los Grills and CC, nice stream. Thank you. I really appreciate any feedback here. Looking forward to use MMT. MMT is epic. You know, I'm a long-time ADAS user and I was there for like 5 years, struggling with ADAS and the rigidity of the software. I was writing indicators there to aggregate data, to get it together, to have all the features that we have here now seamlessly. And we can just click on this one here and then just select 1, 2, or 3, which is like stupidly simple, no? Versus on ADAS, it was a pain to even think about it. But yeah, let's not talk about old paints. I really love the simplicity of the software, and we can use it in any browser anywhere, and it's not feeling like Windows 70 to 89, whatever. Yeah. But you can also test out the majority of the features for free. So consider that you don't have data aggregation, but still the majority you can use for free. You can use heat maps. You can understand how heat maps are working, how footprint clusters are working together with it. So all the juice here, for example, where you can look into the details, what is happening at a certain level here. For example, we have 17 million of buy orders, and then we are getting 29 million of market sells into it. But we can also see here, looking at it, know that here the walls are still there, 17, 17. Then if we mouse over here, it's only 3 million behind. So those walls that were here were bought. Still, people were like market selling into those lows. It is interesting. Now and then the walls appear again, for example, and are pulled again. And then down there, we have the walls. They are tapped, but they're not all filled. And then price reverses. It's really interesting to see. And it's so simple, no? Limit orders versus market orders, how it works together and how it goes hand in hand. And it's such a simple concept. We came to the value area high here. So the sensitive thing for you to do is take some little profits here on the trade that we took, because if this scenario happens, so that is something that I would recommend everyone, just a little bit. Eventually put your stop loss closer or put it into your, again, paper trades. No financial advice here. All we discuss here are paper trades. I will share my paper trades with you after the stream if we are still in it. And if we are not getting into any crazy reaction here, we can have a look more into detail. We are already back into the daily value area. So that is nice. Something nice to see now. And so far, everything is still in order for us to continue to the upside. So nice 0.7% move so far from the short we took. Epic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something we do inside the Academy every day. Either with me, with Netzo, Krolik giving some educational content. I think today quite some insights launched on how to trade anchored VWAPs and what they are. So really nice on that. Last week we had Netzo with order blocks, how he uses them and how to mark them out. Even some homework for some members, and some already did it. So we'll be looking forward to the second part of Netzo's order block stream. Again, here for everyone that joined a little while ago, we took a short here at the highs with the volume bubbles that printed. And then we discussed the potential for profits here at the value area high in case we are shooting up again. So we took some profits after 0.7. Normally we wait for 1%, but we got some nice pushback in here and we took something off in order to be in a nice scalp, because if we're getting stopped out, happy days. If not, we can run it down a little bit further. So how I would approach it now, for example, is I will try to trade it much further, because every situation is different and you need to be aware of your surroundings on the different charts, the different time frames, the different exchanges, and where you are in terms of price. Because for example here, if we come back into this chart, we can see that we are now back into the daily value area, and we are struggling to fight through that. But then if we zoom out and include a little bit more data, we can see that we are back testing the value area high. So it's conflicting, which one is stronger. We will only see when price deviates either back down and gets acceptance inside this value area, or if we continue to catapult. No one can tell you for 100% sure, because these little moves here after the impulsive ones are never that strong. So we rarely get crazy aggression. We only get those things on all-time highs. Then, for example, we can do the same thing. We break out, we come back, we get aggressive shorts because everyone thinks we're breaking back down, and then we rock it out. But the only thing here is you need to adjust your trades. You enter a trade, you assess, okay, value area high here, value area low here, and then what is the safest thing to do? We take some profits. 0.7 is better than nothing. And then we can still adjust how we take profits afterwards, you know, because sometimes for me it's like 1% or aggression, or depending on the context, we have to take that out of the equation and reassess it. Because now, for example, we took some profits. If we were to drop further, we can then take some profits a little bit down the line. We don't need to take profits at 1% again, you know. We can wait a little bit later, more for the point of control here, for example, or for the point of control here, or the VWAP in general, and then take it from there. Why did you take the short from 90.4? V-trade 1, 2, 3, 4. I will go into that quickly. Here you can see the VWAP close that we discussed in the beginning of the stream. So basically yesterday's VWAP close here. And what we then did is we identified the uptick here in open interest with the nice amount of long trades that came into it. So 10 million longs here. We also saw some longs here left behind, for example, and we also checked out longs here and how CVD behaved here on the lower time frame. So for sure, this is not, I also mentioned that in the beginning, this is not a big size trade, and this is also not a very higher time frame or medium time frame trade. We are talking about scalps here, so we need to adjust based on that. Basically what we did here is we see the longs, we wait for the next candle, we see, okay, CVD is going up, so there is a lot of people buying into it. For example, we can also see a spike here in CVD, here, and mostly everywhere, now into the highs. Everyone was buying into those highs. So really strong move in general, either aggregated, or if you look at buckets on the different trade sizes, or inverse, Coinbase, spot, or futures, it was everyone was buying it. And then we got the reversal, we lost it again, and then we entered. So we don't enter at the candle and at the level, we always wait one. And you can also go back in time to reassess how it took me a while. I think it was on the second or third candle afterwards that I told you I'm going short here, paper short. That was it. And then we reassessed how we are considering this scenario here. So if we come back in here and have this little range value area high back tested and continue with the trend, or we get acceptance in here. So that's why we took some profits earlier. Normally I take profits at 1% or after, but here, depending on the area where we are and overall the position, now overall we are at the lows. We are not taking all too crazy aggressive shorts at the lows for sure, but that's what we basically have to consider. And that was the trade that we did basically. Yeah. Next area for sure, we still have this point of control that we discussed earlier, that is in this region. And yeah, for now, we will see if we can break down here. Will be an interesting one. But I hope that was clear, V-trade. It's very simple process for me for scalping. It's always like key level, key fips, key confluence zone, context dependent, but then aggression, positive delta, a lot of longs, a lot of positive or negative delta into the shorts, for example, into the lows, and then we counter trade them. So I'm always looking for aggressive entries basically. And I think we also got a nice move so far. We are at 0.8% on our short. Now, for example, what would make me take profit earlier? If I were to see a ton of shorts with a spike in negative delta, then I would definitely take profit maybe also here already. You know, it's like you cannot be married to your trade. It's very, very important why you want to scalp or not, because like you cannot think, okay, this is now the biggest reversal of all times and I'm gonna short it to zero and I'm gonna keep it and hold it. No, you need to be able to flip. If we would have gotten any aggressive shorts, as mentioned also earlier, out of the trade looking for something new, we're not married to an idea here. Like this one, for example, as we said, this is the scenario 1 and this is the scenario 2. We will only see how price develops here. So we cannot foresee exactly what is happening. We can only read the aggression or the reaction right at our level. So that is something important. For example, those are all the trades that we did last week inside the academy. So long here, short here, and then short here. Also same here, short scalp. And I told everyone, listen, I still want to see the anchored VWAP reaction. Came up, this was our higher time frame swingers area. Then we took a long here for a nice bounce, and again one here for going into the weekend, and those are all nice scalps. Then we took a loss here. I will mark that out also now before I forget it. So this one here we took yesterday on the session, and it was a loss, so I'm gonna mark it red. And then here, for example, we did a scalp short now together with you, and that I will keep because we took some aggressive profits already here based on that. And that's how we roll. Academy wise, there is one daily session inside the academy, either with Coach Netzo or myself, where we try to either go over price action in time, life, how it happens, depending on if we are getting some crazy aggression, and if it's stale, we just go over levels and then notify you basically when we are getting a nice move. Happens also inside here basically, where we are tagging everyone then if we are getting to the aggression zone, and I will always tag people then here, for example, when we are. So some nice longs so far. Would like to get a reaction here from now before higher, and took a short here, and let's see how it goes. So that was, I think, even 97,200 was that the overall high here. No, I think that was this trade here. Oh no, it was this trade here. It was the aggression around this region. So that was the notification with it, for example. And then the one before, and here is then the anchor, which is the last resort for a short. And I also mentioned that I will handle it more different because we are getting a bigger medium time frame move. So this is a starter, and we're taking some small profits only and risking to get stopped out because I want this to play as a bigger medium time frame move to the downside. So you can see how well that played out now. Right here at the highs, I told you, listen, I will have my stop loss wider, and I will only take some small profits here after the first few percentage moves, and then I want to see this play out as a medium time frame or higher time frame move, and we got 10% from that. So isn't that epic? Let's see if there's some questions. Very clear, and I want to watch more of your videos. Join us in the academy, man. You can check it out here, MMT GG. Go there, academy, everything is there. For example, for the taking, what we're doing inside, there is some info on all the coaches. So what am I doing? I'm living on a boat most of the time and trading there, and what I am scalping or trading or how it works, for example. And then with Netzo, how different his approach is, what he's doing, and what his experience is. And then you can also look for one-on-one coachings here, for example, and check those out. But yeah, would love to see everyone here inside the academy. Eventually we got quite some nice family going there with awesome vibe, I would say. Maybe some of academy members are here and can share their feedback. I can also give you this one here. For example, we got some feedback here last week from Barakat, where he's saying regarding the community, I really appreciate everything the academy and the coaches are doing. Being part of this journey has helped me bring much more structure and discipline into my trading. And that's what we're all about, you know. What I've learned during the process, I've learned how to properly approach the market with a clear framework, especially around patience, risk management, and waiting for high probability setups instead of overtrading. And what's improved, very important, you know, because we're all here to improve together. And I'm also telling that every time. We are not all knowing. We are all here to improve together. And that's the most important thing, you know. You have good friends, you have good family. Trading is such a lonely sport. But if you have good people around you, sometimes you learn something from a student, sometimes you learn something from a coach. Everyone is helping each other. Sometimes you see a level, others don't, and you share it, and it's really nice. But yeah, overall, his process is much more rule-based now, and he plans the trades in advance, manages risk consistently, and he's also far more aware of his emotions. So made a lot of difference. Really love the feedback here from everyone, and thanks for everyone that is inside the academy, giving it such good vibes, because we couldn't be here without you. Really, really important. Oh yeah, and start trading using MMT for sure. Yeah, try it out. Again, it is free. Like the majority of the tools are free. So really, really juicy stuff. I have MMT right now. Will there be any update for smaller cap alt pairs? What do you mean with smaller cap alt pairs? Ah, you might mean more symbols. I think we got 1,200 now. The majority of the bigger symbols are here. Like I think over 900 something were added last week or this week basically, and a few more exchanges. I will ask the team about smaller cap alts, but you can always go to feedback MMT GG and drop the request there or upvote it. Basically, really important for everyone. This is a page where you can report some bugs, for example, have some feature requests or whatever you would like to discuss and deposit by the team. And then you can upvote it. So if a lot of people want more smaller cap alts, for example, or you want anything special, bucketed, whatever, you know, just talking about the bucketed CVD before, which was quite a nice feature that was released lately. So here we went over it before, where you basically can divide your CVD based on certain trade buckets. So 10 to 25K, 50K to 100K orders, and everything in there. And then it shows you where are the smaller players, what are the bigger players doing. And we discussed that bigger players did not jump into anything here yet. So you cannot see an uptick on spot since the low. The only uptick here is on futures, but again, first down and then up again, so not really crazy uptick, and inverse also not all too crazy. But yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm gonna leave you with it. No, unless there's any more questions. I think we had a good opportunity here with the aggressive short. We are already in it since a bit. 0.8% we got so far. Take your profits either at the point of control or around, let me check, where is the anchor? Here, anchor is here. Smoothest anchor no that you will ever see. You can see where and how is it changing. Anchor here, if we come back down, yeah, definitely a profit area before the point of control would be 1.4% more or less. So that is something I would look for. If we continue on this path, I will not chase further shorts. You know, like this is just the one here matching with our higher time frame idea that we still get one more leg to the downside and one more aggression into the value area low. So keep that in mind. Stay safe. Don't overtrade. Again, as Barakat mentioned, also don't get all too crazy. Kindly speed up the alerts, I believe. Very important. Yes, upvoted alerts, I agree. And stop loss at the day high. Stop loss at the day high, yes. That is it for my scalping. Like again, if you are in an, if you wanna consider this to play out here with the continuation, you can move it closer to entry. I, for now, have it still at the daily high, and I will entertain a next reaction here at the point of control. So let me mark this one out here for you. If we get another similar aggression as we got, longs into it, positive delta into it, for example, I might consider another short, but for now, not. So I will have to see how it goes with the reaction. So this is not a key level here. This needs to be more reaction based, whereas I'm more sure about my VWAP closes because I trade them actively. And again, yeah, I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. Don't jump into crazy trades. Always think of me if you want to do it. If you want to pull the trigger on a trade, you're like, should I jump in again? Be safe with this price action. I think there was a speech of the president earlier, but we did not get all too much crazy volatility or anything. No, nice continuation, and we're still in this range environment. So keep that in mind. We discussed higher time frame levels, we discussed local levels, we discussed potential rotations. If you joined later on, we took a live scalp short. We discussed scenarios on how to take profits, where the stop loss is, and we took already some small things off the table for this scenario here to play out. And if we are going on this scenario here, remaining inside the value area from today, I would just like to come down here. But yeah, very simple approach. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, a comment is always appreciated, or a like. And then I will catch you either inside the Academy or here on X or YouTube very soon. So thanks for being here. Cheers. Have a good day and goodbye.